Well, good morning to everybody. And for those who traveled long distances to be here for this amazing moment, thank you for joining us in Chicago. Here with us today are true champions of women's health, like Representative Kelly Cassidy, Senator Melinda Bush, and of course Planned Parenthood and Personal PAC and ACLU and so many others. "100 years ago this week, Illinois became the first state in the Union to ratify the 19th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution, guaranteeing women the right to vote. Today, Illinois is making history once again. As a lifelong advocate for a woman's right to choose, when I became governor, I promised that Illinois would become a national leader in protecting reproductive rights. And with the signing of the Reproductive Health Act, I'm keeping that promise. In a time when too many states across the nation are taking a step backward, Illinois is taking a giant step forward for women's health. Today, we proudly proclaim that in this state, we trust women. And in Illinois, we guarantee as a fundamental right, a woman's right to choose. Illinois is demonstrating what it means to affirm the rights of individuals to make the most personal and fundamental decisions of their lives, no matter their income level, no matter their race, ethnicity, or religion. When it comes to contraception, abortion, and reproductive care, this law puts the decision-making where it belongs, in the hands of women and their doctors. Our laws will now reflect the rulings of the courts and the current practices in our state. And the Reproductive Health Act ensures that women's rights in Illinois do not hinge on the fate of Roe v. Wade or the whims of an increasingly conservative Supreme Court in Washington. In this state, women will always have the right to reproductive health care. I want to say very clearly, in the 46 years since the Supreme Court decided Roe, there has never been a more important time to stand with women. Those opposed to women's reproductive rights are emboldened, and they're not just looking to curtail those rights. They are looking to eliminate them altogether, and their hopeful eyes are on the highest court in the land. In the last few weeks, we've seen state legislatures in Georgia, Alabama, Ohio, Louisiana, Kentucky, Missouri, Mississippi, and Indiana pass near-complete bans on access to abortion. Right now, in Missouri, the last remaining clinic providing reproductive care is fighting a legal battle to keep the state from shutting it down. And as a result, more and more Missouri women are being forced to travel to Illinois and to Kansas to exercise their rights and access care. Make no mistake about it, and listen up. Abortion bans don't ban abortion. They just endanger women. They endanger women, and none more than rural women and poor women and young women and women of color. It's wrong. And here in Illinois, we reject it. So let the word go forth today from this place that if you believe in standing up for women's fundamental rights, Illinois is a beacon of hope in the heart of this nation. We trust women. It is now my great pleasure to introduce one of the great and amazing chief sponsors of the Reproductive Health Act, Representative Kelly Cassidy.
Thank you, Governor Pritzker, and to you I can only say what a difference a governor makes. As we just heard from the governor about what's going on around us, there is a war against women, a war on bodily autonomy, and our opponents are using hateful, untrue, and outright misogynist rhetoric, which escalates daily and endangers women everywhere. At our very doorstep, in 11 days, the people of Missouri will find out if they will lose the only clinic in their state. And today, with the signing of this bill, we are building a firewall around Illinois to protect access to reproductive health care for everyone. Two of my boys are here with me today. And frankly, they are the very embodiment of what access to the full range of reproductive health care means. It's clear that this fight won't end in my lifetime, and it's up to them to continue to protect and defend and stand up for their partners and their friends and their sisters and their lovers. Sorry, y'all, you got work ahead of you. Elections matter. I'm really glad for our governor, really I am, but quite frankly, the truest illustration of how much elections matter and the bulk of my gratitude goes to the amazing women of the House Freshman Caucus. They ran on this fight, unapologetically pro-choice, and they changed the faces of their representation for the better, and they put this bill on their backs, and they carried it to the finish line, and I love you guys. Thank you. To the handmaids who sat vigil in our chamber for so long, thank you for being there. All of my sisters in advocacy. And most especially to my late mentor, Sue Purrington of Chicago Now, who put me in this fight. I thank you for that opportunity, and this is for you and for my boys. I love you guys. And now, my sister in badassery, Senator Melinda Bush.
Hell yes. So I just want to say, we got a governor, really. We have a leader in Illinois. Anyway, I'm State Senator Melinda Bush, the Senate sponsor of the Reproductive Health Act. First, I want to say thank you to Governor Pritzker for being a fierce advocate of reproductive rights and for taking the final step today in guaranteeing the right to an abortion in the state of Illinois. And I want to thank my House counterpart and badass sister, Representative Kelly Cassidy. I want to thank the ACLU and Planned Parenthood and the advocates who trusted me to trust women and carry this bill. I will forever be grateful and honored for this work. I want to thank the same legislators that you thanked. When you elect women that are here to make a difference, that's what they do and that's what they did. And I want to be clear. The freshman women of the House, they really did move this bill. Without their help, without their commitment, without their saying, not on our watch, we ran when a president ran and told us it was okay to grab our body parts. And we're saying no more. So I just want to thank them so much. And to all the citizens who worked so tirelessly to get the bill call in the House, I think we should thank them too. So as states across the country passed restrictive, dangerous laws aimed at banning abortion, thousands of Illinoisans rallied together and said, "Not in our state," and demanded that their elected officials take action to protect access to reproductive health care in Illinois. I want to thank you to those of you that rallied and marched and said, we will not go back to a pre-Roe v. Wade era in Illinois. We want to make sure that Illinoisans can now rest assured that regardless of what happens at the federal level, they'll have access to comprehensive reproductive health care here in Illinois. The government shouldn't be able to tell a woman what's best for her body and her future. By making the reproductive health care law in Illinois, we're sending a clear message that we trust women to make their decisions about their bodies. We believe that women should have the same autonomy over their bodies that men do. And I'm so proud to live in a state that stands with women, and I'm asking other states to. Hashtag be like Illinois. Trust women. Because in Illinois, we're not going back, and we're urging every other state legislature to take this up and make sure that we are protecting a woman's right to safe, legal abortions. Thank you so much. And now I get to introduce the next badass woman of the day. So Colleen, who is just an amazing attorney for the ACLU and gave such incredible testimony, and she's brilliant, so we'll just let her convince you of that.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm Colleen Connell, and I'm the Executive Director of the ACLU. And I want to start by thanking Governor Pritzker and First Lady MK for elevating this issue and saying that they promised to make Illinois the most progressive state in the union on women's rights. Woohoo! And I want to thank our amazing legislative sponsors and champions, so many of whom are here today. This bill would not be law without each of them. And I want to thank so many of the people in this room, because really this is a team effort that would not have happened without the efforts of so many of you over so many years, really decades, of fighting to make reproductive choice a fundamental right that is recognized in the state of Illinois. When this law becomes a law in a few minutes, women across Illinois will know that our state government respects women and trusts women to make decisions about our own health care. Including birth control, abortion, and maternity care. These are fundamental rights that we must all protect and have access to. I also want to again thank our legislative sponsors, the always fierce State Representative Kelly Cassidy, the absolutely unstoppable Melinda Bush, State Senator. They worked relentlessly to advance this bill. I also want to thank our chief co-sponsors, State Senator L.G. Sims and State Representative Chris Welch. So once again, Governor Pritzker, First Lady, we are so very grateful, and thank you to all of you here today. What a wonderful victory.
Good morning. I'm Jennifer Welch. I'm the CEO and President of Planned Parenthood of Illinois. And I am thrilled to be here today to join the Governor and the First Lady and the representatives that you've seen from the General Assembly and all of the organizations that came together to make this historic day in our state. No other health care is as scrutinized and as stigmatized as abortion. The RHA is an important step to remove the stigma around a simple medical procedure that 1 in 4 women in the United States will have in their lifetime. By signing the RHA into law, Governor Pritzker solidifies his commitment to the patients at Planned Parenthood and all of the other healthcare providers around the state, many of whom are here with us today. Because of their courageous work, women in our state now have a fundamental right to a full range of reproductive health care. And at Planned Parenthood, we are committed to ensuring access to that right every day. Across the country, we are in the fight of our lives. We are in the fight for women's lives and for all of our patients' lives. Other states, as you've heard, other states are in a race to pass the most extreme restrictions and get those to the Supreme Court. Today, Illinois sends a very clear message. A woman, not politicians, should make decisions when it comes to her own pregnancy. Now, anti-abortion activists are always trying to shame women about reproductive health care. They harass patients and our staff at our health centers every single day. And that's why the RHA is such an important step forward. So I want to thank again, and everybody's already done all the thanks. I'll save that laundry list from one more time. But I want to thank again the Governor, the General Assembly, and the team that made this happen. We are proud to be a part of it. And I am proud to introduce one more leader in the effort to get the RHA over the finish line, Melissa Wyden, the President of the Personal PAC Board of Directors.
Good morning. To quote the very wise Kelly Cassidy, elections matter. And this is a perfect example of that. Last November, Illinois women came out in record numbers to support pro-choice candidates. Voters who supported reproductive freedoms made their voices heard. Personal PAC is so proud to have played a role in electing so many new pro-choice leaders who made passage of the RHA possible. A very heartfelt thanks goes to the many legislators here today and to all who voted for this bill and made today possible. Your vote enables women in Illinois to make their own decisions about their reproductive health care without governmental interference. Your vote demonstrates that in Illinois, we respect women, we trust women, and we will fight for the rights of all women to make decisions about their bodies, their lives, and their families. Your vote shows that Illinois is standing up for women when so many other states are attacking reproductive freedoms and access to basic health care for women. Governor Pritzker, thank you for your vision and your lifelong record of supporting reproductive rights. Because of your leadership, access to reproductive health care for all women in Illinois is now protected. As a mother, I am very grateful that my 2 teenage daughters live in a state that recognizes and respects their rights to make decisions about their bodies. And now I look forward to working with the governor and our pro-choice leaders in the Senate and the House to pass the next important bill, and that's to repeal the dangerous parental notice of abortion law.
The two of you should come stand next.
We're coming.
You want to go around that side or should I?
Look at all of those.
Also got a lot of
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll
Distribute as appropriate.
Joyce. Hey, Green Slayer. Green Slayer.
Where's Kadeen?
Kadeen.
Where's Kadeen?
Kadeen.
Kadeen needs a pen.
Yeah, we'll get Kadeen. Will you hold Shonda's?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Did I get one?
Oh, I gave mine. She needs one.
Tell you what, I'll hand some for you.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Joyce.
She got one.
Gary. Yeah.
Save him her hand.
Okay, there you go. You got it?
I got it.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's a pen pal.
First freshman.
Oh, happens.
She's short but mighty.
Oh, we need one. Jack Hernandez.
But make sure
Want to make sure all the women get one.
we need one over there, Brad.
Can we pass this out to Brandon? Thank you.
Let's get one for you.
We have more.
Okay, good.
And
There are more, just keep signing. Damn it, signing.
Ann Williams.
Go ahead, you read some of it.
Ann. Thank you.
We'll get one, don't
We
worry.
have more pens. There are more pens coming.
They're coming. We can recycle these and start over.
Back to the podium. I don't know. I think so.
Thank you. Happy to take any questions from members of the media, and of course we have our bill sponsors and other leaders here too. Yes, ma'am. This simply codifies into law in Illinois what already was decided in case law and what already existed as the law of the land in the state. I'm sorry. So it's very important to recognize why this law was needed. If Roe v. Wade is overturned, lurking behind the case law, lurking behind the laws that are on the books today before the RHA, are laws that would make Illinois an anti-choice state. Laws that do not reflect the views of women or the vast majority of people in our state. So we wanted to make sure that Illinois will always be a beacon of women's rights, of women's reproductive rights, and that we codified the fundamental right for women to make this decision for themselves with their doctors. I think it's very clear from the testimony that was given from the floor debate that this bill simply codifies into law what already exists in the state of Illinois as case law.
Since this law aims to protect
So I'll answer that. I also want to hand it over to Kelly Cassidy, who led the effort to make sure that we're addressing issues for all people in the state of Illinois. I'll just start by saying that by protecting the rights of women, of LGBTQ people in our state, we are simply, once again, codifying the rights that already exist. But I want to make sure that Kelly has a chance to give you a more wholesome answer.
So by ensuring that the language of the law refers not just to women but individuals, we are guaranteeing that we are recognizing that anyone with a uterus and ovaries needs access to reproductive health care. We're making sure that we make that very, very clear.
All of us want to see the rights of women codified all across this nation. We want to see a Supreme Court that validates women, that says that women are the ones we should be standing up for. All of us believe that the state of Missouri and the rest of the states that have passed laws taking away women's rights should change their minds, should revisit the issue. But Illinois knows where we stand, and we're going to be here for women if they have to be refugees from other states. We don't want them to be. We want women to be able to access health care where they live, and all of us believe in that. Thank you all very much. Thanks very much for coming today.
Governor Pritzker just signed the most expansive law in abortion throughout the country. Illinois now has the most progressive law respecting abortion. It gives a woman a fundamental right to make a decision, her decision, about controlling her body. That's how they characterize it. They trust women. There must have been 100 people here today, maybe more, at Chicago Cultural Center here in the Chicago Loop. It was a festive occasion. The leaders of this legislation, Senator Bush, Kelly Cassidy in the House, and Governor Pritzker. He said, when I asked him, he said this law does nothing more than codify existing law in Illinois with respect to abortion. So therefore, he said he does not think this would be construed as nullifying or offsetting the parental notice law in Illinois, which requires, with judicial bypass, a minor woman to get parental to have the abortion provider give notice to the parents. But there are exceptions. So that's not affected. He didn't touch on partial birth abortion, but I guess he would say whatever the law is now, case law and statute, not statute, but whatever the case law is, whatever the existing law is, he doesn't think that would change. But nevertheless, almost everybody here agrees this is now the most expansive abortion law in the country. There are 6 or 7 states that are seeking to completely abolish abortion. Missouri is close. They only have one provider. He was asked how he'd feel, as Governor Pritzker was asked how he would feel if Illinois became essentially a mecca for abortions. He just said he believes everybody and every woman should have the right to choose, to control her body. Did not really respond to that. It was clear the next step from these folks is to repeal what they view as the dangerous involvement of parents. That's what they said. Some of the groups here, advocacy groups, dangerous involvement of parents in the abortion decision of minor women. They want to repeal that, repeal the parental notice law. They said that's the next step. This is Jeff Berkowitz for Illinois Channel, coming to you from the Cultural Center in the Chicago Loop.